Case here. Good for you to see me. See, I got some hay in there. Did get the piece up the road bale without getting it wet. But it rained that night. Nobody was predicting rain. And I had hay down that got wet. Which we needed the rain badly. We're drought. We're in a drought right now, and in the springtime when you're in a drought, don't bid good for the rest of the summer. But I hauled all them bales in, and 46 of them. Me and Mildred hauled them in, and I have just since in the last couple of weeks learned that it's illegal to have your hand on your phone while you're driving, so it's even more illegal to miss a gear while you're driving with your hand on your phone. However, here we are. What we got? I guess I could stick you on the dash, but things look really green here, but we had like less than a ½ inch of rain through the whole month of May, and we got 3/10 on Tuesday night, and it remained pretty cloudy most afternoon on Wednesday, and then I had to make a nursing home visit and other things Wednesday evening. I could have got this baled yesterday evening, but didn't happen. That's what the field looks like for a bale. Slicked off pretty nice. A little shower caused the green right back up. But where we've got our cows is kind of a little more destitute. It's the grass is patchy and pretty much eat down. Now there's a lot of hay gets made along my road. This 40 right here side of us is for sale, 35 I guess, and it'll get made into hay. Then the 35 acres next to it here belongs to my youngest son, and we'll bale it eventually. He took a job with the local outfit that has a lot of cattle and helps them take care of their cattle. They run on a skeleton crew all year. I mean, he takes care of like normally 500 mama cows that are stretched apart 12, 14 miles, probably a 15-mile circle. Things are hanging together pretty good so far. We learned when we got the rake out of the barn it needed a bunch of teeth changed. We got that done. All of the hay I make down here on this place I bought from my dad's, none of it can be seen from the road, so it's kind of one of those type of things. Scott's cows. Joy is the pond that he deepened last fall. Just moved them over here, so they got some new picking they haven't had for quite a while. Thistles are bad this year. I credit that to the drought that we've been dealing with that has caused the grass to not be as robust, and everything got picked down to nothing last year, so there's space, and that thistles just need a place where they can get a little light. They'll take off. So it's just kind of a unique place right here. This driveway that we've got, they used back when they built the roadbed for I-44, and it's another half a mile west and a mile north at least to get to where I-44 is. And then I think they was taking it almost a mile farther than that east. But they came down here with scrapers, and they had needed sandstone for some reason. I don't know whether the sandstone mixed with the clay made a better road bed or what, but they had a high fill area where they built a bridge over 5 Mile Creek. And that's just about a mile from the end of I-44 at the Oklahoma-Missouri state line. The end of the turnpike, I should say. I-44 doesn't end there. But, yeah, they bought, mined sandstone out of the place back there in the woods and all the way onto the neighbor's place. But this is the hay that got wet. I got a patch here, and the first patch down in the hayfield is down. And it, an hour ago, it still had a little bit of dampness on the bottom. But I believe I'm gonna rake it all up and get to seeing if I can't bale some of it. So we'll see how all that goes. Maybe I'll get you some video. It's kind of difficult. Here's the equipment we're using. It's S&H V10 V-Rake 10 wheel. We've used that for several years. 585 XL Case International. Don't mind the hood on this side. It's a borrowed one. It's a 1086. That's if you've listened to much of my channel, you know that one was Identity Crisis. And probably the oldest 605F baler we've got. That baler baled all the hay we baled last year, and it was about 600 or 700 bales. And I got $500 for that baler at an auction. Think it'll stay around a while. Don't owe me much, huh? There we go. So I'm raking a little bit. I got my very dirty window in the back, showing you that. H&S wheel rake, raking up this here rained on hay. You know, being rained on a lot of the time don't hurt it too bad. And this stuff here is early enough. It's still, the stems on the fescue is still pretty tender, even though quite a few of them got bleached from being rained on once. But sure enough, got some thick stuff down underneath of it that's green, and it greens back up when it gets wet. So what I'm doing is raking her up, and I realize we're making a big wide windrow. Try to make it almost as wide as the pickup will pick up on the baler. And try to make it to where it's even on both sides so that you even bales. But there'll be a strip underneath the middle of that don't ever get picked up. So with the rake, it'll get picked up with the baler. But if the stuff on top of the windrow is really, really nice and dry, it'll be all right, because the moisture will even out rather than heat and mold and everything else. So, but you can see them windrows right there, got a lot of green in them where I rolled them over. And you'll even see a wet spot now and then, or what looks like it's wet. It's so green. But and right there, that was probably wet when I rolled it over. But it'll be dried out by the time I get to it to bale it, because, and that's just in spots that it's like that. And it's heavier. It'll be, if the weather holds. We have little clouds showing up everywhere, and they're back to predicting little pop-up chances this evening. So I'd like to get this in the bale today, but it needs a little sun on it before I can feel comfortable about baling it. Yeah, we could have went and got the tedder and teddered it all out, but when you do that on hay that has dry stuff in it already, it loses some of that. It'll break it up and it'll fall out. You lose it, so you don't get quite the yield. And this year yield might be a thing. I got something that is in this field to help maybe some people who don't believe we haven't had much rain and we're still doing this good, to show you that we just plain haven't had the rain. This field, all these fields down here, on my dad's place that I bought from him, we call it Tommy's. It was his Uncle Tommy's. I let my oldest oldest son, Scott, used this for running these cattle on for about half the year, and I'd have him pull them out the last day of December at least. And right there's an example of it. You see right there in that windrow what that is? That is a dry cow pile. And we haven't had enough rain since the last day of December to cause the cow piles to disintegrate. Yep. So one of these fields, the other one that I've got in windrow, is way over there beyond the trees. It had so many of them that the mower would ride up on them. Anybody recognize what that is? Look at that. Big old sandstone in this field. The mower would ride up on them cow piles over there in that other field, and it would make a big strip where it had pushed the grass down ahead of the mower. And that's not very common for a disc mower to do that, to leave a strip. I mean, it just usually cuts everything off, but whereas riding up on them dry cow piles, it was just like had a little sponge right in front of it holding the grass down where it couldn't cut it. But I mean, they're all over. Of course, this last summer was so brutal to us in the cattle business here in my little locality that everything looked like a desert. I mean, they had practically eat everything there was. There wasn't even any weeds. The weeds that you would normally get in late summer didn't even bloom last year because they died for a lack of moisture. And the cows was at the point where they were making anything. Those weeds were growing at all. The cows was even eating the leaves off those weeds. So I just got this little dab here left to rake. Probably about 4 rounds maybe or something like that, and then I get to start baling. I got to clean my wind off on the baler really good. So, and I'm getting behind on these videos. I hope I may get, it depends on how wore out I am when I get home tonight, but I may get 2 of them posted this evening. So we'll see. I don't think I ever did say the other field that I did get, this is just the second day's worth of mowing for us here. The other field that I baled over there and already put in the barn made 46 bales, 46 or 47. When I counted them in the field, I counted 47, but when I put them in the barn, there was 46 and a little one. I don't think I counted the little one, but hey, who knows? And in our economy, somebody could have stole a bale out of there and thought they really had something. They're still asking $100 a round bale for hay around here, a lot of them, so. Yep. Kind of how that looks. I got to get something else sowed in about half of this field. It just came up in cheap this year, and I thought about sowing some orchard grass and timothy in it. I got a no-till drill. I could easily do that, but if I had done that this last winter, I don't think it would have grew at all. So maybe this coming year I'll get something sowed in there. And just about half of this field we had spray killed to grow oats, and we no-till drilled oats in it. I think there's videos on my channel about harvesting those oats, what we actually got off from it. But it was getting awful bad for weedy when I done that, and I wanted to kill the weeds off, and it also had Johnson grass problems. Killed quite a bit of that back. So, kind of accomplished what I wanted, and I got a little grain in the process. So, that's about the long and short of this deal. It won't be very long. I'll get done raking this. It's getting close to 1 o'clock here, and I'll get on to the baling. Just getting started on the 3rd patch that I got to do. Maybe 10 acres here. So I'm thinking I'm almost half done with what I got to do today, but it's hitting along here about 20 to 3. a heavy yielding field, but I'm gonna try my best to get it wrapped up. We're starting to have some floaters come along. I don't know. Any of you guys that are farmers that watch the weather are gonna know what I'm talking about. You can kind of see some of them up there. And it's had this haze. We've had this haze all day. And it's nice and warm. It's up in the 80s, but it's not nearly as hot as it gets usually. Usually we have upper 80s and 90s this time of year, and it has not been that hot the last week or so. But they say next week's going to, so yeah. So that's just kind of what I'm doing today. Maybe I'll get a little short piece when I get finished here. I don't know if I'll count them today or not. We'll see. So I got it all rolled up except the corners. Not very many bales. Let's see, and this field would normally make 25, 30. So ain't terrible, but no bumper crop. I kind of fertilized for a bumper crop. Raise no hay when it don't rain. See if I can get a good picture here. Hey, thanks for watching. We're at camp next week, so probably the week after that before I got many other videos up.